I made a video a while back asking the question, why is it that teaching is no longer respected and valued as a profession? After reading quite a lot of the comments and reading other bits and pieces, I thought I'd run through a list of why I think teachers aren't valued like they once were in previous generations. Number one, the sort of Offstead culture and over surveillance, this constant performative nature to teaching now, where it just feels like constant box ticking to get a good grade in an Offstead or whatever it might be, which just isn't what anyone gets into teaching for. Essentially create an education system now that no longer trusts teachers to do the job they're capable of doing. And therefore, when you're working in a system like that, that is constantly scrutinizing you, pressuring you, making you feel like a failure, it's one of the reasons so many teachers are leaving. We are still feeling the effect of 14 years of Tory rule in this country, where we were just constantly gaslit as teachers, eroding away any sort of professionalism, just initiative after initiative deemed as raising standards, which just expected teachers to do more with less, putting more and more pressure on schools. It's then drip fed into the media. So whenever schools teachers are reported in the media, it's always done with a negative spin. It's talking about striking all the time. I mean, the fact that we're looking at more strikes on the horizon, the media say it's just all about money, where you ask any teacher, they'll tell you it's about the pay rises not being fully funded. Social media. Now, whilst this I think can be a positive tool for teachers to connect with other teachers, find inspiration, ideas, and further improve their practice, we know that the one emotion that keeps people on social media the longest is anger and outrage. The number of outrage baiting posts you see people put out there about schools, about teachers making false accusations, not getting both sides of the story, and so many people consuming that content without questioning the actual facts behind it, it's going to lead to a lot of people losing trust in teachers. Social media constantly perpetuates this perfect life of everyone else, making us feel like complete and utter failures. We are all guilty through social media of comparing our whole lives to someone's curated highlight reel, making us feel like we're inadequate, we're not good enough. Rather than processing that, some will externalize it, look for someone to blame for why their child isn't performing as well as their friend's child who's being posted all over social media. And again, teachers can be blamed for that. Staying on the social media theme, the scroll effect, where you've got so many children connected to devices for multiple hours a day, getting a constant dopamine hit through scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, making so many of them finding school completely and utterly boring. Everything is instant, rewards are constant, and it is just impossible for teachers to compete with it. Our society very much has a consumer mindset now with most things, but especially schools and teaching, where rather than it being a partnership model between teachers and parents, it's almost seen as like a customer service type model. So when the service isn't as expected, maybe a child has some sort of struggles, some parents will put the blame solely on the teachers, not necessarily seeing it as a shared responsibility. Then you've got the invisible labour aspect of teaching, where so much work teachers do completely goes unseen. Because so much of it is unseen, a lot of the time it's therefore undervalued. To still have people come out with lines like teachers only work 9 till 3 just proves that point. The reality is that there was research done looking at the number of hours of unpaid overtime worked each week across every job, and which job came out on top. Yeah, teaching. The cost of living pressure, we know how difficult it is for everyone at the minute, especially some of the families we work with. And when times are tough, we're always looking for someone to blame. For so many of us, it's a lot harder now through no fault of our own. Whose fault is it? And so we look at people in power to blame. And if you look at people in a position of power, you can't go and abuse police. You can't go and abuse NHS staff. There are consequences to that. But it feels like some people think it's okay to abuse teachers knowing that there won't be any consequences and they can get away with it, and so do it. Last one I think is behaviour. Now I think this is going to be the biggest issue affecting why so many teachers are leaving the profession. For years it has been workload, but I think behaviour now is going to top that. A lot of it comes down to budget cuts, the fact that so many schools have a real skeleton staff, there's not as many adults to help in monitoring and supporting behaviour. You find that more parents will believe their own child over a fully grown adult professional, which has led to a real undermining of the authority of teachers and school staff. There are a few reasons why I think teaching isn't as valued as it once was. I'd love to hear if you would add anything to this list. And again, I want to make it clear that when I talk about parents in these scenarios, I know it's a very small minority. The vast majority of parents are really incredibly supportive and do see it as a partnership when it comes to their child's education. But I'd love to know your thoughts on this, whether you agree, disagree, or anything else you'd add to it.